start with your journey and mine. Welcome back. We're back with another video. I'm Lou. That's Mo. CB Lifestyle and Apparel. Real Talk with Mo. Let's get it all out the way. Just try the apparel stuff, by the way. He's put out recently, I think, maybe 4 or 5 different new
got some new
products.
designs. We got tracksuits, hoodies, sweatpants, Adidas, backpacks, Champion fanny packs for you fanny lovers, fanny pack wearers.
You think we don't know about fashion? We know about fashion, bro.
Just check us out, bro.
Look it up.
Counting billions, chasing blessings, counting billions.
Anyway, so we just did a previous podcast and it was
this
about
is our 100th episode, guys.
By the way, thank you guys so much. This is 100 episodes, dude. We're here. This is finally happening. 1 0 0. You do 1 and I'll do 0 0. Look at that. Bam, son.
Oh, yeah.
So, another thing with the 100 episodes I wanted to do is let you in a little bit more about us. A little bit more revealing, a little bit more transparent. We've gotten through 100 episodes without really telling you shit about us. Mm-hmm. So, we saved it for the 100th. So, I wanted you to... the last video we were talking about paying dues and like it's crazy how intricate life is and the journey is more important than the thing. And I feel like maybe both me and him have kind of taken the hard road at some points in our lives bad choices to get to here. But there's so many lessons to be learned in the process.
If you go back to learn them.
Right. So
the reason why last story where I was telling you why I'm telling people about if I go back in my history, why I can tell my journey is because I went back. Right, I went back. Right, you go back and you're like, damn. I don't remember about middle school, high school. I can tell you, 96. That's how old I am, 96. You know what I mean? You know, I was going to school. You're always for the girls. You know what I mean? You dressing good. You trying to find ways to get money. You know, I'm coming from a really like a single mom. Yeah, she had 3 kids. You know, she's finding ways to make me look good. I'm dressed up. And I find ways to make more money to be able to get into more things, get a car, you know, get the car. Brian Tracy says a good episode, get the car, get the girls. That's the path to failure, is what he says in the video. And that's exactly what I did. Get a car, wanted to go pick up the girls from school. I'm not worried about school no more. Yeah. I'm hanging out with everybody who I'm not supposed to be hanging out with at that time, right? Getting into all sorts of stuff. 96, 2000, I don't even graduate high school, right? Yeah. After that, I'm like, I don't need it because I'm thinking I'm, a hustler's dream and all this, and I'm going out doing stuff, having little jobs just to cover stuff or whatever.
Just to get by, yeah.
But then I'm hustling. So, and then I don't have no career. I don't have no path. I'm just out doing things, and there's nowhere to go, right? And then I meet my wife around like 2002, 2003 or whatever, and we're dating and stuff. She's going to college. She's I'm hanging out in the streets. That's all I'm doing. So for that to whole in there is just
how crazy is that
life, right? The street life, right? I'm just doing street stuff. You can see in my pictures on Instagram, videos. I'm in the streets. People that know me, that I'm hanging out
on the block.
So, I mean, my wife and then my wife's going to college, and we really vibing and all that. And she's got a career path, right? She's getting a marketing degree and all that. And then she breaks up with me one time and says, where are you going? Like, you don't have a career. Like, you're not doing anything. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, lady? Like,
this is great.
And then I'm thinking to myself, when I looked at myself, like, I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. And at that time, I'm like 21, 22 years old. I don't know what I'm doing, right? So I'm like, damn, she's right. So that's when my brother suggested to get into plumbing. He says, get into plumbing, you can make money. If that's not something you want to do, at least you can make money, support your family, feed your kids when you have kids. Yeah. And he didn't even have kids at that time, and he was just getting married. But he had that in his head, because my brother dropped out of school at 16, went straight to work. Yeah. Right? My mom says, if you could leave school, but you got to go to work. So he started 16 plumbing. And by that time, when I'm talking about, he's 10 years older than me, so he's like 30 already. He's been in plumbing for 14 years at that time. Yeah. So he started, and then he's like, has his own business. He hires me, teaches me plumbing. I started to see, like, it's paying. But my thing is, like, I know, like, I had people working above me. I had this guy, Donnie, working above me. And he was making more money than me. But he has skills.
Shout out Donnie.
He has skills, Donnie Lospoto.
That's good.
He has skills. Right, he knew what he was doing. He knew how to diagnose stuff. He knew these things, and I knew like I can't get there without getting there. Yeah. Right, I have to learn what he learns to be able to make the money. Like my brother's not gonna pay me just because I'm here, right? Because I deserve it, right? So I started to go to school. I was learning stuff, and then I started to see the other people around me making money too, getting other certificates, backflows, and all this other med gas. People getting all that, and they're making more money. Yeah. Right, and that's when I learned. Actually, I'll tell you that because during that same path, you know, I got married. I'm skipping ahead probably about 5 years. I got married. I got to a bigger company. My brother's company went under. I'm at another company. I'm going to school. I finished school off. You know what I mean? But I'm not really growing. I'm not growing as fast as I want to. But I didn't blame it on the company.
Yeah.
Like when I wasn't growing, I wasn't like, damn, my brother's not paying me enough money. Or I wasn't like, damn, you know, this other company's not paying me enough money. Right? I wasn't blaming anybody else. I knew it was a skill set I needed to get. Then I went in to try to do a thing with, you know, Primerica. Selling insurance, investments. I quit my job to go do that because I was like, I'm gonna pursue this to the end.
Yeah, which is
and through that path, I read a lot of books. I was reading every day. I was probably reading, you know, a couple books a month, right, type of thing, because I knew that I needed the knowledge for sales, and I needed all these different skills and how to influence and you know, how to influence friends or how to influence. I forgot the name of the Dale Carnegie book, but
yeah.
You know what I'm saying. So I was reading a lot of books. I was learning more about myself. And it wasn't working out exactly the way I planned to, but I went back to plumbing. I went back to construction, in plumbing, and I was right back where I left off. I never left. Actually, I was better now because now my sales skills were better. My talking was better. I could conversate with people. I was not scared to. Back in the days, I only talked to people I knew.
Yeah.
Now I don't mind engaging with anybody anytime, right? I'm just more social like that.
You got educated.
Social like that from reading, because I knew that's how you network. That's how you get more people. I did a lot of networking in Primerica. I used to have to go to network meetings all the time and talk to people. So those things all improved me. So I never looked back at anything as a failure.
It's a journey,
right?
And
I didn't take any losses. I just gained knowledge through those experiences.
Without it, he wouldn't have gotten.
Some people would have, you know, the plumbing, they would have just stuck with it. And then some people would have went to Primerica and they would have just been like riding that into the sunset and then never, if they made money, they didn't make money, whatever. Or they would have just quit it all together and went to something else. But I went back to it.
It was translatable and came over.
Correct, and it helped. But I took it as a skill that could help me here.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't a skill that I was just threw away. It was something I learned.
Yeah.
So I went on.
Try to do public speaking. That's a pain in the ass, and he did that.
So and I talking in front of people and everything, and I was the type that used to not talk to people.
It's one of the most scary things anybody's ever done in their entire life.
So then from then, you know, I'm just growing that, and now I got a couple of businesses that I'm pushing. You know, I got my son now. It's a bunch of different things that have happened in that time span, but it's all. When I say and I look back at it, I'm looking at where I made the mistake and where I went wrong. A lot of people will tell you a story. I mean, not people. The people that tell the story usually went back and looked at the story.
Yeah.
And they engaged the story from their life, and they're like, "Damn, this is where I fucked up at."
Yeah.
Some people don't ever do that, and they never think they fucked up.
It's never their fault.
Right? It's never their fault. They don't go back and be like, "Damn," you know where it was? It was because this, right? And I go back to all sorts of things, and some things are a little sensitive. Like I go back to not having my father, right?
Yeah.
Not having my father in my life, you know, as intricately as he needed to be, as you know, a father needs to be, right? And not him being in there, and it wasn't my mom's fault, right? It's not my mom's fault that my dad didn't engage, right? But what I'm saying is, I look back, like maybe that could have changed my path too. I don't blame anybody,
but that could.
But if I'm going to teach the next person, right, the next generation, if I'm going to teach a topic, something, I need to go back and see what that was,
which people don't,
and call that out. Be like, listen, I think you need, you know, both parents in the house to be able to fix this. I'm not saying it's good or bad either way. I'm just saying from my experience. I've seen this, like I probably would have went a different path. Like going down a bad path with a dad in your house, whipping your ass because you went down a path. You could go either way with that. Like my dad could have whipped me and I could have went worse, or I could have got better. Right? So I'm just saying, like, but if you don't go back and look at what you did wrong, you can never fix the future. Like you can't fix what's going on now. Because you don't know how you got to where you got now. So you're gonna take that same choice again. And that's why I said I can tell you my story, because I go back, I look at it. I look at it from high school, where I went wrong, you know, but I never look at it as a loss. It was what it is. That's my timeline, right? Like if you ever watch any type of like comics or anything, the timeline is the timeline. You can't control it. But
you can go back.
I can learn from it.
And
then if I learn from it, I can teach, right? I can show my son, this is you know, I mean, this is what I did wrong. Like I tell him all the time. I say, be weird. Right, because I was scared to be weird. Weird to me was not cool in my neighborhood or the people I was around.
They're like, well, this guy's weird.
You had to be cool. You had to be cool. You had to be dressing fly. You had to be, you know, getting the cars early, getting rims on your car. You had to do these things to be cool. But the weird people right now are probably working at IT for the most part, making $250,000 and not caring about how cool I was in high school.
Yeah, right.
Right? They see me in high, you know what I mean? Like, they see me now and it's like, I'm doing well for myself, but I'm saying if I wasn't, they'd be like, well, that was the cool guy in school. Because I see all the cool guys all the time.
Oh, yeah.
See them all the time in the street. They were so cool in high school. They had all the friends. They were so popular. And it was, correct. They peaked. And it's like, you're not that cool no more,
yeah,
bro.
What happened, bro?
That cool shit is not cool. So I try to teach my son those lessons I've learned.
Yeah.
Being cool is not cool.
No.
Like, I'm not like, that's not the cool thing to do. Just be yourself. Just
be you.
Be if you're weird, be weird. Don't let nobody tell you any different.
That's really cool.
And showing the support to him is something that I didn't have either.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So all these things just come along.
But those are lessons you learned early.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it all goes back to taking accountability, responsibility. This is my path, and this is where I messed up at.
Right.
Now I'm gonna look back at those, not to down myself. I'm not mad about any of it.
No.
All the choices I made were choices I made. I live with them.
Yeah.
Right. But I look back at them so I can learn, because that's why I don't like people when they talk to people and they don't give them the, they don't give them the real. Like, listen, this is not a good path. This is not something they should do. A lot of people look at that as hating.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about owning a business all the time, right?
Yeah,
We
sure.
talk about plumbing business. I hate talking to people all the time about it. And I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm giving you the insight that a lot of people ain't going to give you.
Yeah.
I've been in, I lived in one.
Next to we didn't work like how some companies are where everybody is like doing their thing and they don't even know what the boss looks like. We work right next to the boss every day.
Walk to the boss.
In the office in the morning.
I looked at the books.
Yeah.
I looked at everything, right? My mom was
that
secretary.
payroll.
My brother was the boss, like the owner.
Looking for what he
right?
owes, what he doesn't owe.
And I'm seeing what he's going through. So I'm giving you the real on it. Whether you want to take that on is up to you.
It's up to you, yeah.
And also, I always tell people all the time, you can't get everything.
Yeah.
Right? You can't. There's no way. Life is not meant for you to just have everything you want to have.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think. I'm telling you, nobody, even the person Jeff Bezos, doesn't have everything that he wants.
No.
He can't. Right? He can't have the time. He can't have the family. He can't have family time.
He has
right?
to sacrifice
He
something.
has to sacrifice something. Something's gonna lose.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna lose out on something. Is it your marriage? Is it your kids? Is it your time? Is it your health? Is it your money? Because some people don't want the money. They want more time with their kids. Okay, well then you're gonna lose out on money. Right? You can't have it all. And I just, that's one thing that I learned from that path is I can't have it all.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted it, and people, if they tell you they can, they're lying.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you straight up. But it's not a bad thing either.
It's not.
It's not a bad thing. Then you get to focus more on what's important to you, and then you get to see that more.
Yeah.
Like, this is more important. My family is more important, right? I'm not missing out on my son's next 6 years, 7 years going to college because of money. I'm gonna make money, but
You'll be along for the ride with him.
Correct.
The whole way through.
Because I want to be able to part of that. I want to be experience that. I want to be a part of that. I think that's a good thing for him.
Going back, and your dad not being there, stuff like that. The stuff the sensitive stuff you were saying too, also built a role in the fact built a role in the father you want to be.
Correct, because you know what, but you got to look back at that too, because a lot of people come from that situation and they end up being the same father.
Yeah, or worse.
And then their father ends up, then their kid being the same father,
100%.
and then it just becomes a cycle. But if I look back at it and be like, well, damn, this is where,
where things got fucked.
I think he should have put more effort and did this.
I'm gonna do that right now.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I gotta do that. At least I gotta do that.
But
right?
if you don't go back, you don't learn
you don't
that
go back,
lesson.
you never learn the lesson.
You just run
you
into
just
the
keep
same
doing
obstacle.
it. And same thing why people get into relationships and the relationships are crazy.
It's a repeated
you keep
cycle.
just like doing the same thing. It's not gonna win.
It's you. Half the time is you.
That's the main point of the whole thing. This is all you. This ain't nobody else.
You
Right?
live in this life, right? And you're looking at life in your perspective and your view, right? And your perspective can change. Like our perspective have changed when we look back or when we ask. Like one of the things you left out of the story too is even when we were doing plumbing together and stuff like that, and I was his helper, we would be in rich ass people's houses, and instead of us just doing the plumbing, which we asked them questions on how they got the money they got. Why did they have this library?
We weren't jealous.
What's their favorite
we
book?
weren't jealous of them.
Let's
Like, oh my
pick
God,
their brain.
They came from a rich family.
We spoke about it before we did it.
88% of people or 80% of people are self-made millionaires.
And one of the
First-time
things that they told us is that we got to get out of our own way. We can't just keep blaming everybody and doing all this and not paying. We have to be very self-aware on where our trajectory is, but also what the lessons that we've learned. And if we didn't learn them, go back and learn it. And really learn it.
Yeah, see what happens.
You know how many times I've been in my life where I thought I learned something or I thought I got past something, and then the position comes up or something happens, and I'm like, damn, I thought I was ready for this. Let me go back. Hold on. Pause. Time out. Let me go back. Go back through my past. Find out why I'm the way I am, and let me change that thing. And I changed it. Maybe people say I've changed. Well, I'll be honest with you. If you haven't changed, then you're
You think I
already
did
in
all
your
this work
40s.
just to stay the same?
I ain't staying the same, bro. We
Like
got to
Jay
keep moving
said.
forward.
These people say I changed. You think I did all this just to stay the same? Come on, bro.
That's true.
What the fuck? If you ain't growing up, you gotta grow up, bro.
You gotta grow up. You
like
gotta grow up.
if you look at my pictures in 2000, my pants were like 4 sizes too big. My shirt was like 4 sizes too big, right?
Gotta
If I'm
grow
still wearing that at 40,
You got a problem. You're not growing.
then you're not growing.
I can see it in your outfit.
I can see it in your clothes.
The most
your
obvious
body's
thing.
grown, but your fucking
You're the same-
mentality
the same
has not.
motherfucker.
And it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like even you know, that's
You
just
have to
that's a
progress.
simple one. Like
you have no choice.
come on, bro. Like your clothing has to change. You're the dad now.
But to be able to be, I'm not just going to say to be smart enough, but to be wise enough to recognize that at age 30 or 40, and you're looking back at you at 20, and yeah, glory days, all that, right? But if you're still holding on to your glory days and not progressing to be the gentleman you're going to become, because there's a difference. Like I've seen, I was the club guy too. I did a bunch of crazy shit too myself. But when you transition over to the proper gentleman you're going to be raising a family, that's a different guy. Why can't both guys be super cool?
The thing is,
why can't both guys
the
be
thing is,
gangsters?
let me tell you, to be honest with you, you're gonna be in a different environment,
100%.
right? So when you was cool kid and you was dressing that way, everybody around you was probably like that too.
Yeah.
That's just
What it
how
is.
it is, right?
Mhm.
So you was going along with what everybody was doing. You was doing stupid shit what everybody else was doing. As you get older, your circle is gonna be different, right? Your environments are gonna be different.
Mhm.
Like if you're still that guy, you're gonna stick out in the wrong way. You're not gonna be. You're not,
Not
gonna,
gonna
be able
be-
to go with. You're not gonna be able to grow with that environment.
What about your speech? Like when you used to talk to people, your language wasn't there. You still had the street language in there.
Yeah, yeah,
Then
of
when you started
course.
progressing that language to
Well,
match.
from reading too,
Yeah.
reading and learning words,
Vocabulary.
right? And then actually, even right now, when I type invoices, I do a spell check, right? Or I look and I try to put words into it
Yeah.
that sound better,
Yeah.
right? There would be
You
more
could
like
use a adjective, or you could use
there are better words
a
than I would
synonym.
normally use, right?
Yeah.
And I do that even now when I don't have to.
Mhm.
I don't have to do it because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. As long as they can understand the invoice, it doesn't even matter that I put in the words.
It sounds
I do
more
it anyways.
professional if you say it
My
this
wife,
way.
my wife used to get on me about punctuation,
Yeah, 100%.
right? So I punctuate. I try to punctuate. I try to use commas to stop, when you're talking, and it's a pause and then go. Right? I do exclamation. I use, period to say it's the end of the sentence. Right? Not a run-on sentence that goes da da da
Yeah,
da da
it's
da.
run off,
Right?
yeah.
Because that's not because that's my wife. She would be like, "Babe, I don't understand your text."
But it's also your will to improve.
But I'm like, all right, cool. I can
Yeah.
improve on
I'll
that.
take that.
Right? It's no big deal to me.
Yeah.
If it's something that's gonna make me better, why am I gonna
Why
deny it?
fight it?
Yeah,
'Cause you
it's
wanna be
like
cool? You think that's cool?
I don't want to be cool no more. I already told you. I'm done with being cool. I just want to grow and learn
Yeah, bro.
and make more money.
That's another thing,
and
too.
So be more successful in things that I do. That's it.
One of the lessons I learned too is really not giving a fuck what the people
I don't
think.
give a fuck.
What the fuck does that matter what the neighbor or what this guy thinks, what that guy thinks? Like, you're doing you. I don't give a shit
care.
about what he thinks. I'm gonna dress how I want to dress, act how I want to act, speak how I want to speak, raise my kid the way I want to raise my kid, do my business the way I want to do my business. And when half of these motherfuckers are especially with business, when they're doing something, me and Mo do the opposite thing that they're doing. They're going
It's like
right,
Max B
we're
said.
going left.
Like Max B said, listen, you niggas walk one way, I walk the other,
The other
way.
way,
I don't
bro.
do what you do.
These are lessons we've learned through our
And that attitude works. But
100%.
if the attitude is not working for you, right? Because some people will take that same mentality, be going down a crappy path,
Yes.
right? Be going down a crappy path, right? And will just keep running down that path because they don't give a shit about what people think.
Right.
What I'm saying is if it's not working for you, right? If you're not where you want to be, if you're not successful, you're not doing the things you need to do, if you're not where you're at, then you need to change.
Yeah, you have to.
Right? You have to change.
Mhm.
Right? Because whatever you're doing is not working.
Yeah. So now
Right?
you have to be aware.
But once you get to a point where you're confident enough, where you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, where you feel like you're going, then that's when you don't need to give a fuck.
100%.
Because I don't give a fuck now. Now, the path I'm going on, I don't need anybody to really care, right? Or I don't need to worry about anybody's thoughts of me,
No,
where I'm going.
because you're on a path.
right? Because I'm on a path.
But you had to check yourself
I had
first.
to check myself.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if
yeah.
I went down the path 20 years ago, or 10 years, I was about 15 years ago, then I would have just been going down that path, and I probably would have still had baggy pants on.
Yeah, you've been going on that path and still been like, hey, what's up, Nick? What up,
Yeah.
motherfucker?
See, I've been talking crazy.
Hey,
So,
like,
which I still do sometimes.
yeah,
But,
but
you know what I
still,
mean? But like,
you can slide in and out,
I
but
go
just
in
use
and
it at
out.
the appropriate
Yeah.
time. I mean, it's just lessons that you learn, but and same
Gotta
thing with
learn
work.
it,
You
bro.
learn through experience. I could do this. I could install this specific thing, or I can applicate that to my marriage. It's all translatable. That's one thing that I figured out too in my life, doing martial arts and stuff like that. I can translate that work ethic and that hard work and that outside the box thinking and
Everything.
utilize it in every aspect of
aspect
my
of your
life.
life.
Being able to quit drinking, or being able to quit smoking weed, being able to do certain things that without help, which is sometimes really hard and not possible, or get out of my own head, or get out of depression. These things are not as hard as I thought they were going to be, because I already have that work ethic in me. I just needed to translate it over to something else and be like, okay, I can just use that here. This tool I got, I'm gonna put it here, use it on this, and it works almost every single time.
It goes back to the last video. You sow what you reap. So whatever you put in, you're gonna get out. If you're putting in a lot of bad, you're gonna get bad. If you're putting in good, you're
Isn't
gonna
it crazy
get
how
good.
life is, though? How you said, like, all the things you went through and all the crazy, to wind up in this spot
Yeah,
on our
and
100th episode. It's
exactly
crazy.
where it is. You know what I mean? That's where it was going. But you gotta look back to be able to change that.
Yeah.
And if you're right now looking at the video and you're like, damn, like I need to do more out of it, then you just gotta do it. But you gotta understand why you're doing it. Because if not, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna get on a path. This is what happened to a lot of people.
Oh,
They
yeah.
start reading some books,
Mhm.
right? They start seeing some things. They take some stuff out of the books that they think is good.
Mhm.
They start going down the path, and they end up right back in the same spot
And they're
again.
like, this stuff doesn't work. You don't work.
Relationships don't work, right?
You don't work.
They'll tell, oh God,
Sorry.
they say relationships don't work, right? Or they'll say these jobs, man, they don't want to pay you or whatever, right? They'll say something,
They always
whatever
do.
makes them feel good at the time, right? It's a little windy.
You
guys.
don't work.
You don't.
That's
work,
the
bro.
problem.
That's what I used to be.
You got the problem. You're the problem. If you're in the relationship after relationship after relationship and you can't figure it out and you're like, I don't understand.
You're
Like,
the
they just keep
problem.
beating me, or they keep yelling at me, or I keep getting it.
There's no good relationship.
We can't connect. You are the problem.
the problem.
You got to go in your Rolodex of your life, go on that journey
Figure
again,
out where
and
you're
check
going
it.
wrong.
I always go back to what I can remember day one. Remember this, remember that, remember with your parents, remember your family, remember what you did, remember you made this move.
Maybe
Damn, how
this.
did that-
Maybe this is why I react to people when they say this.
Boom. And then I'm like, you know
All
what?
right. Well, maybe I don't need to do that. Is
Let me
that
just
really
take
helping
that
me?
part out.
Is that really
Is that helping me in my life?
Think about it. I tell you, like, you know, with my wife, like, I was about hothead. We talk about it in other videos, right? People would just be like, damn, boy, your girl, I mean, she look good. I mean, damn,
What'd you
girl, you
say?
look good. But they would say it in front of me. If they said it out when I wasn't around, I didn't care
Here's what
because
it
I didn't know.
But to disrespect me?
But if I'm walking with my wife and then some guy's like, damn,
Hey,
girl, you
man.
fine. I'm like, bro, what
Hey,
you,
bro, say
you
one
want to come talk to her? I say, come talk to her then. You wanna get to know her or whatever? Because I'm ready for it, whatever. Like, at that time,
Right.
but then I'm thinking, like, is this really helping me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, me confronting this guy about to get into a fight.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
He
Anything-
could shoot, I could, you know what I mean? Anything
Anything
can
happen.
happen, right? So I'm like, why am I gonna do that? That makes no sense. When
Check it
my
out.
wife is not entertaining it, we walking away, right? I still don't like
Where
it.
did any positive come out of
Yeah, I
it?
still don't like it, but to engage in it would just be stupid.
Yeah. What's the point? It doesn't
So
serve you.
I had to look at that, man, and it wasn't me like I'm my manly thing, right? But I couldn't engage in it, right? Because a lot of things can happen that would not go my way.
Yeah.
So these are just things you gotta look at,
Yeah.
right? People keep doing shit over and over, and like, oh no, he disrespected me. Well, you gotta look at what you think disrespect is and how you figuring that, like how you taking it. Is it really, right?
I remember
It's
one time
words.
I was at a Subway, and this dude had hollered at my wife before we got in. I was already pissed. He hollered at my wife when we got in again. Got into the Subway. I was like, bro, one more time, I'm gonna smash this dude. Now I've been training. My dad have trained me martial arts in my whole life, so I've been ready for this shit. And this dude has no idea. I'm just a little white dude to this guy. This dude's not a small guy.
You're not in the kumite.
So I said, say one more time. Go ahead, I f***ing dare you, dude. I gave you 2 chances. You don't get a third. He says again. I said, put your hands up. He says no. I said, just then pick a hand then. He said, and before he could finish it off, bro, it's already over, bro. He's got lit up, Brad, right? My wife is there, or my girlfriend at the time. And I'm thinking all of this positive stuff's going to come out of it. Because I'm going to whoop him up. My wife's going to see it. She knows she's going to be taken care of, right? Nothing positive came out of it. Police were called. I had a sea of people in there. This is in the mall, subway at the mall, subway at the mall. A sea of people see me just. This dude didn't get off a shot, and I'm just lit him up, fell on the ground, boom, 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 knee him, and then I gotta run because I hear the cops coming. I don't even know where my girl is. We finally meet up again over at this movie theater, and she's hysterical crying. She's never seen anything like that, and that'll happen right in front of her face. No positive, bro. Now I'm a violent piece of shit who just beat up some guy. I had to run from police, and my wife has never been in this, so I have to eliminate that. It's not benefiting me. It's not benefiting
you gotta
me.
Look at some of the stuff, bro.
Did not help me. It just made her scared of me. She didn't know I was capable of all that.
You gotta grow. If you're the same person in your 40s as you were in your 20s, you didn't grow.
And I know it's scary to let go of to let go of the glory days. I know it's scary to let go of what you could have been or used to be. I know maybe you were a weird kid when you were younger, and now you're getting a little handsomer that you're getting older, maybe, right? And then you're like, damn, now I can really go in. No, bro, it's too late. Your time is window's gone. You're 35 now. Your window's gone, bro. Now it's time. You should have already been in.
You gotta build. You gotta build.
You gotta build, bro. You're running out of time.
Same thing with women. Same thing. You might have been the hot girl in school. You're 35. You're not the hot girl anymore.
Now what?
So
how many shit decisions did you make before
now
you became
gotta
35?
Make sure you building, growing, getting a family, doing your thing, because you don't get. We just look. Time is something you can't get back.
No matter what.
I think about it every day almost, man.
Yeah.
Like you could just wake up, you don't wake up. That's what can happen.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
I just went on a 10K run. I could wake up. I'm so tired. I felt like I wasn't gonna wake up.
It happens. It just happens.
You gotta look at that more.
And that
closely.
how much would I regret at that last minute? Ava was like, "Hey, Daddy, come play," and I'm like, "I'm busy. I'm doing spread work, sheets or whatever I'm doing at work," and I ignored that. And that's the day I would be, miserable I'd be. Something happened.
Nobody, bro. When you're on your deathbed, let me tell you, bro. I'm just saying. I just can see it for myself too. I don't regret about the money I didn't make.
No. I regret about the time I didn't spend with the people I should have spent.
People I should have been around.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna regret. Nobody on the deathbed is like, damn, I should have made that last trade.
Yeah.
I should have bought that business. I should have started a plumbing company.
Should have got a bigger house.
No, I should have been in a bigger.
I don't give a fuck.
Should have had a pool in my backyard.
Now what does it matter?
Why didn't I buy that Range Rover? Damn, I should have 2 Range Rovers. I only had 3.
I told you, and now I can't get it. They don't care.
Why didn't I buy those?
Trust me, you're not gonna care.
Why didn't I buy those diamond chains? I needed them. And you're on your deathbed.
The thing too is being we've been around. We both have been around a lot of death, so seeing the aftermath of that, right? And then them telling us the story of they were doing this or she was doing that or they were just getting ready to be this, but it's over. It's too late now.
Yeah, it's too late.
So it's like seeing that the perspective that he was just saying, the perspective of what really matters then, what really matters.
Yeah.
The money doesn't really matter that much.
It's impact.
Do what you can. It's impact. It's the most important
people around you.
thing.
I think to me that's the most important, right? So
it goes back to the beginning of time, bro. Tribes. It goes back to everything. It's not just about I want to be Mr. Popular or the most important, but it is I want to be able to impact other people's lives.
Yeah.
It's just important.
Man, they say what they say about when you die, the pallbearer will cry at your funeral.
Yeah.
But again, this goes back to putting in work. You got to put in work. But putting in work, once you go on the path, even if you don't get there, man, I feel like you'll gain so much from just going on that path.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if it doesn't work out.
Right. Discipline, hard work. Right. People always say, "Oh, hard work." Listen, bro. Even if you work really hard and don't get there, like if you was to try to lose weight. And you were working every day like you're supposed to, right? Not just saying that you were,
but
and not
really
going and telling a story about how you did, and then we look at a video of your life and you woke up and you were like, not today, not today, not today, and then it's like you worked out one. I hear the stories all the time. I don't believe.
I'm gonna eat nachos.
So if you did all that, you don't think at the end there would be some type of change in you, or some type of even if it is showing your body, your attitude. Your heart,
you just showed yourself something, especially with working out and doing physical, you just proved yourself something. There was called a 40% rule. What if I told you that everybody in the world mostly gives 40% only, and there's a whole nother 60% that's left over? But you never reach that. When you work out, when you do stuff like that, when you push yourself as hard as you can, when you think it's over and you're like, wow, I still got more to... You catch that second win.
Or just like reading, right? Just reading some books.
Trying to get through to the end of the book.
Finishing a book, right? If you finish the book, you don't think... Like, I'm just confused. Like, you don't think that somehow you're going to be better than you were before you read the book?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're reading, maybe even a fictional book.
I challenge
just
myself.
Reading, you know what I mean? Just doing certain things and getting to the end and finishing it. I just think like you're gonna gain. You have to gain something along that journey.
You know what I did yesterday? I already know I have 2 really, really big jobs coming up for the next month. Really big jobs that are just on me. On me alone. Maybe I'll help her with me. My truck was a mess because I just did 4 humongous jobs, even in the midst of my vacationing that I did. I need to be able to be on top of my shit, so I took everything out of my truck last night. I think 8 o'clock at night. Most people aren't doing this. I'm doing this because I've been thinking in my head, I need to be ahead of myself for the next few months, make sure I have all the material, took a material list, and then I threw everything back in my truck neatly, nicely, perfectly positioning. And what I learned is, wow, this would be better if I put it here. This would actually work out better on this job site because I'll have it here. And I'm already set myself up for the next whole month of work that I have to go do. Even just something that simple. But I didn't have to go do that. I took an hour and a half out of my life to do that. But it helps me in my life and also taught me a couple things I did and did not have. And it's just something very small and minute. But me not doing that and me just going to work on Monday with my truck like that, I'm never going to get to it. I'm never going to get to it. I'm about to throw like so much more shit in the midst of all that. I had to clear it all out to know what I really need to get done.
Kind of like a metaphor for your life.
100%.
Clear out all the shit.
Let's get rid of that bullshit. You don't need it.
Rearrange all your shit, all your priorities. Right? We're gonna use this truck as a metaphor. Put other stuff in the front where you can get to it. Important stuff.
We know we can call it inventory.
Do
a mental inventory.
What's important? Put that in the front so that you can make it so your next job for your next 10 years is good. You got to do that.
You got to go
right.
Put this there. You know what this is?
I don't like to hear people complaining, and when they go to complaining, I hear it once and then I'm shut off the next time. Like, I'm not listening to you because unless we're talking about a solution to fix it,
then what are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Do a mental inventory check. Mental inventory list.
Where you going?
Where am I at now? Where was I? Where am I going? When I was on this cruise I just did, I was like this. Where was I at? Where am I now? Where am I going? And those were the key moments when I'm looking at nothing but sea, which I sent them a picture of too. Nothing but sea and ocean between me and the rest of the world, and leaving everything else behind me at that moment. Where am I at? Where was I? And where am I going? It's the most important thing.
And then you see really too how
small you really are.
You're in the middle
how
of
small
the
your
ocean.
circle is.
In the middle of the ocean, and you're like,
well, my problems aren't
this
really
is
that
huge.
Yeah,
Bro. Ocean is huge.
Humongous.
But you gotta look at the perspective. So
do a mental inventory check,
that's
bro.
inventory.
Trust me, that's a good
Rearrange your truck.
Rearrange your truck, your mental truck, bro. Just check it all out. What do you got? What don't you got? What do you need to add to your inventory? What
shelves falling down.
Up and
Fix
coming?
that shelf.
What's up and coming? Yeah, shelves falling down. Remember that thing you didn't get to? You got to get to that now.
That.
That's gonna be hard, but you got to get to it now. Like, it's just all
check
inventory.
the oil. Check the oil.
All of it. Check the tires.
Check the
tire
tires.
pressure.
How your legs working?
Yeah,
legs working.
come on,
looking skinny.
Check all of that. All of it. Super, super important. Those are lessons that you learn in your life.
This is the 100th episode, guys.
Boom. Thank you guys so much for paying attention for this long. 100 episodes, bro. We here.
Yeah. We ain't going nowhere.
We're just getting started.